Hey guys, Dave here, and welcome back to another episode of FFBE War of the Visions. In today's episode, we're going to start our Tidbit series, small bite-sized pieces of information, trivia for FFBE War of the Visions. This is the first episode. Today we're going to go through Mediana's Trust, acquired AP up. So it just says 50. What is that? Does it give you 50 just by using a skill? Does it give you 50%? How does it work? Okay. Next, Oldoa's Trust, defense penetration in general. So how does it work on Lucia with tune-up? How does it work on Oldoa's, etc., etc. So we're going to go into that. And as a bonus, since we're going over defense penetration, I'm also going to review the new vision card that just came out on JP. So without further ado, let's jump in and take a look, again with videos first, and then we'll look at a Excel spreadsheet explaining how it works. And so as you can see, I have a bare bones setup here. All I have is the Lunaverve on Venera, and I have Ayaka's boots on Stern. Stern is going to be using the boots to verify how much you get from TP, and he's also going to be doing an auto attack. So everything else is off. We want to remove any possible variables. So yeah, I've already tested it in another video, but for the sake of time, I've just put those values in a spreadsheet for you. So we can see that should give us 21 right there, and it takes us up to 51. Okay, so we get a considerable gain right there. And then Shadowcast, normally it should give us 10, but we can see right here it's going to give us 15 if we do that. So I did that, and you can see 37 to 52 right there. All right, so that's going to end the turn there. Now Stern, you can see he's at 51 right now, and it doesn't show, it should show auto attack, how much AP you're going to get. Unfortunately, it doesn't, so you have to do it. So you can see right there, it went up to 72. All right, so now we have our numbers. Let's cut it here and go take a look at the Excel spreadsheet. All right, so what does that 50 AP get you? All right, so the first time we ran it, we got 14 on auto attack with Stern. With Purify, we get face value, or half of the TP, 21. Shadowcast was 20, so that got us 10. After popping the Lunaverve, our auto attack went from 14 to 21. Okay, so that's 7 with the difference divided by 14, 50% gain. Okay, Purify, all right, so that was originally 21, it went up to 31, which was 10. So 10 divided by 21 gives us 47.6, I'm sorry. And then Shadowcast, again, 10 to 15, that's easy. You can do it in your head, a 50% gain. So yeah, it looks like some of their math might be a little bit quirky, or you have like numbers that you can't really round properly. And that's where you're going to get like the 47.6. But that 50 AP up is actually 50% more from AP generating abilities. Okay, so if you use an ability that uses AP, you're not going to benefit from it. It's got to be a TP ability, or it's got to be an auto attack. So there you have it, guys. 50% more AP gains from AP generating abilities. Okay, now let's move on to defense penetration. All right, now here, this is the team that I took in. Don't worry, I'm going to explain it. So you can see I have the 4 vision cards, Diablo, Scion, Ifrit, and Echoing Screams. First, I'm going to go take a look at Bling Stern. So you can see I have the +5 sword there. I've got a crit Alexandrite ring, which doesn't really add any attack. And I've got Oldoa's 20 out of 20. All right. Then we're going into Behemoth. You can see here I have 10 out of 10 resonance on him. So I'm going to be getting the maximum attack. And if we go in and take a look at his board, yeah, maybe I didn't build it the best for just this video because I don't have the slash up. But we're attacking mostly light units, so we get that extra light killer on there. It really doesn't matter for test purposes. Okay, then we're going to go to Laswell. I didn't include the Laswell video again to keep it short, but I'll show you the gear that I have on him anyway and what I use for the testing. I don't know why I opened the bells, because it doesn't really provide anything for this. Again, 10 out of 10 resonance with Odin there, and then we go in there again. I leveled it up and I jumped around, so I probably want that 5% attack off and the 5% slash, since that's going to give more damage to slash units. Yeah, So then we'll take a look at the vision cards. Again, you have the max Scion there. The reason it's got high attack and 10 slash. That's why I'm using it on him. Don't need the agility in this test. Ifrit there, 50% attack up. Okay. And then that's got a high attack. Oh, that doesn't matter either, just the 35 slash. Okay. So that's the attackers. And Stern got 137 attack bonus from a max Ifrit, which is huge. All right, now you can see Warrior Light, I got him at exactly 50. It's a decimal, but 50 defense. So we'll see that. Engelbert, I got as close to 100 as possible with the current gear that we have in the game. Sosha's boots, you only get 20% from the second piece, which is 11, so you get 2 and, it's not a whole number. So there you have it. Let's jump into the mission and check it out. So I've already collected the numbers from this. I'm just going to show you like what I did. So when I first came in, I was a little confused. I'm like, oh, well, Laswell's faster. Should I do him first? I'm like, well, I didn't decide which abilities I was going to use first with him. So I decided to just cancel him out and then just test with Bling Stern for the purpose of this video. Because you can see a pattern. All right. Now what I did here, I did auto attack, so 1397, and then I took double attack, which I believe adds light killer, 3332. All right, so that's pretty significant damage right there. That's without, this is before I use the trust. All right, and you can see it does almost nothing to Engelbert, 600 and 1600. Keep those numbers in the back of your head. All right, and then we're going to take a look at Laswell, 1900, and then bam. 4200. That's like an easy one shot right there. Now, of course, none of these units are built out for slash attacks, right? And none of them, none of them are at their max potential. Okay, it's just for testing how the defense works. So now he's popped that, and we're going to skip turns until we get back to him. All right. So we're going to get on to Warrior Light. I don't remember off the top of my head what we got, but we're up to 1981, and wow. So we went from 3332 to 4720 right there. So that's an easy one shot, assuming he's that build, right? A real Warrior Light is going to be stronger than that. And the Stern isn't going to be quite as strong. But look at that gain there. Holy cow. So we went from, what, 1600 to 4300? It's insane. But look at that. On Laswell, we only went up, is that what, like not even 100? So almost no gains there. And then just for fun, like Hazard Crusher, like absolutely like nuts. I don't even think I have that at level 20 yet. All right, so let's go in and take a look at the Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so the top table, we'll call it, this shows the attack that he used. So we used auto and then double. And then below that, it shows the defense values that each character had. Warrior of Light had 50, Engelbert had 91, and Laswell had 7. Again, this is before using Oldoa's Trust. All right, and then those are the attack values that he got in the video. All right, now moving to the bottom table, we can see I have auto, then percent gain underneath of that, then double, then percent gain, and then the effective defense value. I don't know if we can actually view that in game. Maybe I should go back and check. It'd probably be a good idea, but we can assume it was around these values based on verifications on the Ultima site. So when they use Lucia's tune-up, which is 40% defense penetration at level 20 on target with 54 defense, they found that it went down to, it was dropped by 22. So if you do the math, that's almost exactly 40% right there. So 40 defense penetration equals 40% defense down for that attack, okay? Or as long as the buff lasts. So it's not a debuff on the enemy unit, it's a buff on yourself. Okay, so it works the same way, but it's on you instead of them. All right. So let's take a look more at the calculations because we can notice something else that isn't explained there. All right, now notice we'll take a look at Laswell first because he has very low defense. right? So I rounded up for him, just assuming he would lose 3, since we're probably at like 7.5 or something. So what we notice is you only get a 4% gain on him. So the lower the defense is, you get nothing. If the unit has 0 defense, you get 0 gain. So one advantage that defense down gives you is you can go below 0. On the Behemoth raid, he had 0 defense, and Venera's defense down 20% took him to minus 20%. Whereas when you have defense penetration, you can only penetrate something that's there, right? 0 times 0 is 0. And that same principle works here. Now we can see, like Warrior of Light, we got about a 42% damage increase because we dropped his defense by 25%, which is similar to what Sid's attack does, the Defense Crusher. And then finally, Warrior of Light, Engelbert, who had 91 and dropped down to 46, we're cutting out like 45 armor there. So we had over a 171% gain. So what this tells you is the higher the defense on the target, the greater the gains that you will get. Okay, because defense percent down is a flat percent. So if the enemy has 100 defense and you use Venera's armor cleaver, you will take the 100 to 80. So instead of doing 1 damage, if you do have 100 attack, you will do 20 damage because you've dropped it 20%. You can also go below 0, right? But armor penetration, it takes a percent, not a flat percent, but the actual percent of the defense and removes it. So the way that they work are slightly different. And again, defense down is a debuff on the enemy. Okay, defense penetration is like a buff or an ability that you have on your character. Okay, in this case, it's a buff with Aldoa's Trust, but Laswell and Lucia, etc., have it built into their kits. Okay, so I hope that clears it up. Again, the takeaways here is it's not a flat percent, it's an actual percent drop. So 50% on Aldoa's Trust is 50% down from whatever value they actually have. And you can see that if you compare the defense in the top chart. So it's actual percent, number 1. Number 2 is that it acts almost like a buff, right, instead of a debuff. So you can't go below 0. You can only gain if they have it. And then number 3, the greater the defense, the greater the gain. Whereas the defense down is a flat bonus regardless. Okay, I hope that clears it up. All right, so this card just came out on JP. I'm like, wow, this is kind of made for Aldoa, and I guess that's her when she's a kid and she was like a witch for Halloween. Woo, spooky. Yeah, but anyways, a single target. Again, the requirement is they have to have a great sword as their main. So that's Stern, Blingstern, Rain, and Aldoa currently, as far as UR units go. And then we're not counting Christmas Ramada, okay? Now, that's 12% defense down. Now, I listed it what it actually does versus what it says it does, okay? So we know that it's 12% off their total defense. So if we combine that with Aldoa's Trust, you would have 62% off. So if they had 100 defense, they would have, what was that, 38% left, all right? Now, the group is 35% slash resistance down. This is a flat percent, right? So if they have the Horn Brigade card, 20%, it's going to negate that and go an additional 15% down. Now, since this is a flat one, I believe you can go into the negatives, just like some characters have a negative resistance to slash. Now, those are both great, but the thing that stands out to me the most on this card is the actual vision card ability. So let's take a look. Now, this vision card ability, it takes the unit's element according to the description, and it's a slash attack that takes the unit's element. So for Aldoa, it would be wind, for the Sterns, it would be dark, and for Rain, it would be fire. However, I think this is pretty much 100% useless for Rain because he already has Soul Prominence, and he gets an extra boost from that. It would likely be magic for him, but if this ends up being physical for some reason, then it would be complete garbo for him. Even if it's magic, pulls from his magic, he still has Soul Prominence, so like why, right? However, for Stern, Bling Stern, and Aldoa, again, I don't know how many uses it is. I couldn't find that information, but even if it's 2, this now turns them into really good chainers for future raids. So not only are we, like tank killers and slash resistant unit killers, but now we can also chain. So I see this as a really awesome vision card, especially since, how many raids and events so far and in the future that we haven't gotten yet have you been able to use dark and light teams, right? CERN and Super Stern, they're going to be good for Final Fantasy 14, which is our next raid. They're going to be good for the next box event. So if you want Kane and you want that weapon, they're going to be good for that with the dark team. So being able to chain with them, you're graded on your chains and whatnot. So it's going to be a very strong item. Now, again, this comes out after those, okay? But I'm just using it as an example. However, even having said that, in the future now, Gumi is starting to slowly pull away from dark and light heavy events and going across the spectrum. So you also have to keep that in mind, right? It's not all green pastures ahead for dark and light teams. All right, but it still has great potential, and Aldoa can use it, and that means if any other soldier main jobs or, like new jobs that have a great sword, it's not soldier, it's great sword, as their weapon, again, there's a lot of Final Fantasy characters that have that. 10, you have like Auron, Cloud's probably going to be two-handed from Final Fantasy 7. All right, so what's his face? Shisho, the Axter from FFBE. There's a lot of units that could possibly benefit from that in the future, and even if they don't have a chaining ability, that turns them into a chainer. Okay, and we know for raids and box events and pretty much everything, just mission achievements, limited time quest achievements, chain this, chain that, chain this, graded on chains. If you don't chain in steal time, you lose. So chains are very important. I think I've made my point. I think it's going to be a really strong card, so just keep it on your radar and see how JP pans out in the next 4 months while we're waiting for this card to come out. Okay? Alright guys, so this is the end for my first tidbit video. I guess it wasn't a tidbit, it was a lot, because it still ended up being 18 minutes before the outro. So yeah, but I think it was very informative, and I learned some new stuff for it because I didn't know how either of them worked, and that's why I chose them, because I want to know how everything works in the game. So if you have similar things that you have questions on, again, leave it in the comments below. If I already know, I will let you know. If I don't, I will create a new video for it. So please give me your feedback on that and what you thought of this video. Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you on another episode. Take care now.